Welcome to Document Production. Be ready to watch the video and develop your skills.
Hi everybody, welcome to this third video in this series introducing document production techniques. In today's tutorial we're going to review some things that we've already looked at, and we're going to look at some new features of document production software as well. We're going to be looking at column breaks, hyperlinks, and how to use tabbing using the ruler here. Okay, so first of all, let's get started. We've got a document here which is portrait orientation. There are 3 pages at the moment. I'm just going to identify some of these subtitles. There's one there, there's one there, there's one there, and there's one there. I'm going to take those. I'm just going to create a new style. I'm going to call it subtitles. And let's just click modify so we can go in and design. I want them all to be 14, bold, underlined, Aurora, so we want it to be a nice light blue or a light green maybe for the Aurora. And is that everything? That's what it's going to look like? Yes, okay. So we've got a style. I'm now going to go and find my other subtitles and use the style that I've just created to format them. So there's a quick review of styles. Now what I'm also going to do is, here's the introduction text. Let's make all of the text in the document justified. So to select everything quickly, Control A on your keyboard. That selects everything. Okay? And then we can go to the Home tab and find the Justified Alignment button. Brilliant. Now then, let's just zoom in. I'm going to come to the end of the introduction, and I'm now going to go to Layout Breaks and choose Page Break. So the introduction is by itself on the first page. Then we've got a page break, then we come down to the next page. Now, I want this to be a section, so I want it to end here. So I'm going to insert a continuous section break at the end of this Aurora section. Now because we have a page break here, that might act as a section break. Let's see what happens. Let's select this section and go to Orientation, Landscape. Okay, so a page break doesn't do the same thing as a section break. So let's undo that, Control Z. Let's go to Aurora here and put in a continuous section break. There we go. Now let's try that again. Orientation, Landscape. So this page here has become landscape. Unfortunately, it's given us a big blank page here. I'm just going to do a backspace. Do you see how I did that? I just went to the start of the section and just hit the backspace, and it's got rid of that empty page. Now then, in this section, this Aurora section, which is filling this page, I'm going to create, in layout, some columns. Now I want 3 columns, but I also want to do some modification of that. So I'm going to click More Columns. I'm going to choose 3, but the spacing between the columns, this area here, just want that to be 1 centimeter. Do you see what happens if we increase the spacing? I just want it to be 1 centimeter. That's it. Just apply it to this section that we're in at the moment. Brilliant. So there we go. We've got 3 columns in this section. Now, this is going to sound a bit strange, but I want a radiant smile. I want this sentence to start in the next column. So I'm going to put my cursor at that point in the document, I'm going to go back to Layout Breaks, and I'm going to introduce a column break. So a column break will push all of the text after it up into the next column. That's what I want to see. That's brilliant, okay? Now then, let's have a look at our document and see how we're doing. This is awesome. Okay, now I want to focus now on the title at the top. I want this to be in the center. So let's go home, center aligned. And I want by JB to be over on the edge, just near the margin. Okay, so I want to push it over here. How can I get this over here? Let's use the space bar. Well, that's kind of working, but it's pushing this in the other direction. I want this to stay in the center. So let's delete all those spaces. Notice how useful it is, guys, to have the formatting show hide icon selected. It's so useful. Anyway, let's click Tab on the keyboard. T-A-B, Tab. No, that's not what I want. But Tab is interesting. Let me show you how Tab works. Here, we have a tab in the ruler. If you can't see your ruler, go to View and just make sure you've selected Ruler, because we'll need that for this part of the tutorial. Now there's a tab in my ruler. I'm going to remove it by clicking and dragging it off the ruler. So it's gone. Let's put all of this back onto the left side. Now, look what happens when I press Tab on the keyboard. Tab. That's not what I want. That's not what I want. Why does it do that? It's somehow connected now to the ruler. Ooh. Okay, let me show you what I meant to say. I want to put a center tab here in the middle of the document. So the document is 16.5 centimeters wide, not including the margins, and 8.25, which is here, is the center. So let's see if we can find a center tab. There it is. That's a decimal tab. No, not that one. Keep clicking. Keep clicking. Click. That's it, I think. Center tab. So we've got a center tab. Now, just click into the ruler. Just click. And there we get a center tab. Now, place your cursor and press Tab. And the tab jumped all the way to the tab that we set up. Now I want this text by JB to jump over here. So let's go back to the tab settings here. I don't want it to be a center tab. That's a right tab. Is that the right one? Is it a left tab? Let's see if we can find the left tab. Left tab, I found it. Let's select one in there. Just drag it to the end. Now place your cursor and press Tab on the keyboard. Ah! No. I don't think it was a left tab, was it? If we move it, it starts to come back. Do you see that? No, I don't want the left tab. Let's undo that. Control Z, Control Z. Get rid of that left tab. It was the right tab. That one. Right tab. Put one in there. Drag it to the edge of the document. Go back to where you want to start hitting the Tab key and just click it. Tab. So Aurora is in the center, and by JB jumps to the left tab. Do you see how that works? So tabbing is really useful, and we'll be looking at that again in future tutorials. Okay, the last thing I want to do is go back into Aurora. It's in its own section, so I'm just going to click into the section go into Layout, Margins, Custom Margins, Left. I'm going to make it 3 centimeters. Right, also going to make that 3 centimeters. I know I'm going to print this document out, and I am going to bind it. So to make sure that none of the text interferes with the binding, I'm going to do a left gutter position of 2 centimeters. Is it left or is it top? You just have to look at this to see which one to choose. If I choose top, it shows me, and that's what I want. So let's do OK. Just apply to this section. Oh, no, I want to apply this to the whole document. Everything. This gutter is going to the whole document. And now can you see we've got some extra margin space for when we print the document and bind it. Okay? And guys, the last thing that I want to do, this is the very last thing. I forgot. I want to take this word magical and I want to hyperlink it to this web page, space.com. So I've already found the web page in my browser. Copy the URL, go back to your document, select the text, right-click, hyperlink, and paste the URL that you copied into the address. This is now a hyperlink, and if we press Control, and click the text, we will jump to the web page. So there's a hyperlink set up in our document. Alright guys, I hope that was a good review of some skills that we've already learned, and hopefully you've picked up some new tips and tricks in this video too.